Five, four, three.
Good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Meffistoe, and always with me, my hetero life mate, Know My Feelings. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
What is the Reel McCoy, you might ask? The Reel McCoy is your weekly movie podcast where we ask you to go and watch a movie. You watch it, come back to us, and we break it down, and we spin it all around and put it in a blender, and of course, out comes crap, I guess. Anyway, we are going this March. We decided we want to get to our not favorite, but one of our favorite actors to
I would say cherished
enjoy.
and beloved
Yes,
icons
cherished and
of the
beloved
silver
actors,
screen.
and Nicolas Cage. And for that, last week we started with a fantastic movie, Con Air, and today we're gonna continue with an equally fantastic and phenomenal and a bit long movie called Face Off. How many times, and I know you're a busy guy on My Feelings, but how many times did you manage to watch this movie?
Just twice this week.
Just twice. That's good because I only watched it once, but it was enough. I remembered almost every scene. It's crazy. I actually watched this movie in the theaters, and it was just as fun then as it is now. It's got a lot of wooism, it's got a lot of Cage-isms, and it's got a lot of Travolta-isms too.
For better or worse, yeah.
Yeah, I seem to have caught you by surprise. Yes. No. Anyway, right. You know what? Let's because we're waiting for our guest of honor, Mr. Mike, Mr. Mexican Ironman. He'll be joining us in just a bit. We'll just go ahead and start and say hello to the chat. We'll say hello to James Dosher, Penny, Project Cambrian, Jillian, and Keely Chow. Who else? And all the lurkers in the chat. And of course, much thanks to the Salty Nerds in the Salty Nerd podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show because we're starting with our first segment of the night. It is called Behind the Screens.
Sound production, take 2.
Behind the Screens is where we go to All My Feelings and get the lowdown on everything behind the scenes, creative stuff, cinematography, production, everything that has to do with the making of the movie. Take it away, sir.
Okay, start off with the easiest part is the $80 million budget and the gigantic $245 million gross.
Yeah.
This movie made gangbusters.
Hell yeah.
Especially for its time. And originally written by Mike Werb and Michael Connolly, it was a spec script that was inspired by an accident that one of their friends had while hang gliding,
Okay.
where he almost had his face torn off.
Okay.
Also, one of the major portions of the script, the entire prison break, was inspired directly by the film White Heat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you have not seen it, it's a great film. Highly recommend watching
I know of the movie. I haven't seen it.
it. Yeah. Originally, it was actually supposed to have a very futuristic tone, but they recalled that back because John Woo really wanted to make it more grounded in reality.
Mm-hmm.
This film is the opposite of reality in every way, shape, or form. So you take what you can get.
All right. Before we do this, let's have our guest of honor join us. Mexican Ironman, the non-YouTuber. By the way, just so you know, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. Your mic is not. I think it goes to your other mic. Just check it. Anyway, just so you know, Mike, my good friend here, All My Feelings, is even less of a YouTuber than you.
Yes. Zero presence.
All right. We're going through the behind the scenes of Face Off for now.
All right. Is that better?
Oh, that's perfect.
That's much better. Mhm.
Awesome. Right. Go ahead.
Okay, so originally it was optioned by Joel Silver in 1991, but it languished in pre-production hell.
Mm-hmm.
Then it actually expired, and Paramount picked it up in 1994, but it wasn't actually started film production until 1997.
Okay.
So, you see, had a little bit of a rodeo there. Originally, Rob Cohen was set to direct, but he dropped out to direct Dragonheart. Bad call, Mr. Cohen.
Yeah.
Multiple duos were considered for Troy and Archer. Most notably, we talked about this last week,
Yes.
Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes. That was,
And it would have
that's-
worked.
That's when they wrote the script. That's the duo they envisioned to do the roles.
And they didn't really work together that much until what? The Expendables series, and then also that one Prison Break film.
Yes.
I can never remember the name of it.
It's Prison Break. I don't remember.
But also Michael Douglas and Harrison Ford were bandied about as an option.
Yes. And
That
Michael
would've worked.
Douglas ended up being the executive producer of the movie, and
Yeah.
he really didn't want to be in it, just
Yeah.
produce it.
One other one was Alec Baldwin and Bruce Willis.
I have that too in my notes. It was like, really? Okay.
Might have been a little bit odd.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp was interested in the role of Sean Archer, but dropped out after he read the script.
Yeah, because I don't know if you have it in your notes. When he saw the name, he thought it was a hockey movie. But then when he realized it's not a hockey movie, he dropped out because apparently he wanted to do a movie about hockey. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's also the reason why they included the slash in the film to
Yeah.
ensure that no one else would think it was a hockey film. Now,
Okay.
oddly enough, if you try to look up Face Off, now all you find is the sci-fi makeup
Yes.
effects artist show.
I did check it. I did.
Yeah. So John Travolta and Nicolas Cage actually went a little bit method with this. They spent 2 weeks alone together
Okay.
to study each other's mannerisms and get down their actual cadence when they speak.
Yeah.
John Travolta, for as bad as he is playing Sean Archer, he is amazing playing Castor Troy because he nails Nicolas Cage to a T.
For sure.
So
Okay. Anything else?
Paramount, yeah, I got a lot. Paramount refused to pay for the rights to Over the Rainbow
Okay.
during the shootout scene at the gang hideout.
Yeah. When the kid
Yeah.
has his headphones.
On. So John Woo had to pay for it himself
Nice.
on the condition that he would be reimbursed once the film made enough money. And it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
He loved that song and he used it in one of his other films, right? Like like a Hong Kong film that he used. I don't remember which one, but it was with Chow Yun-fat.
Chow Yun-fat, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was actually supposed to be in the film too as Agent Chang.
Oh, really?
But he couldn't due to contract obligations.
Oh.
So they brought in Margaret Cho?
Yeah. The famed
That's-
actress Margaret Cho.
I mean, that's a pick. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess. Most of the action shots were originally supposed to be done with green screen and also with a futuristic plot, but Wu insisted on practical effects to again base it in some version of reality. I don't know what world he lives in.
Well, it's John Woo.
Yeah. Nicolas Cage had 2 big issues with this film. Number 1, he's actually terrified of heights.
Oh.
So when he was shooting some scenes, he mentioned that this was the most terrifying shoot he's ever been on.
Okay.
Yeah. Second, apparently he's not that big a fan of gore.
Okay.
So all reflective surfaces had to be removed when he had his face off.
Interesting.
Yeah, he didn't want to see the practical makeup effects at all. The original script is actually supposed to be mostly set in the prison.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Nick Cassavetes was actually allowed to rewrite the vast majority of his own lines.
Nick Cassavetes is Dietrich, right?
Dietrich, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
You know me and names, man.
Yeah. Originally, Sasha and Archer were actually supposed to sleep together
Okay.
at the gang hideout,
Yeah.
but Wu argued against it and actually fought with Paramount about it.
Why? Because he didn't want to have any sex scenes?
Well, no, because he thought that diluted the character of Sean Archer.
Oh, okay.
His morality about how he was always in love with his wife and trying to get back his family.
Yeah. Okay.
Joel Schumacher met Cage on set for a potential sequel while this is being filmed to Batman and Robin.
The what?
Yeah, and you know what Nicolas Cage was going to be?
The Riddler?
The Scarecrow.
Oh shit. Okay, that would have been great.
That would have been good.
Could you
Yeah.
imagine having Schwarzenegger and Cage in the same movie?
No, this is a sequel. So
Oh,
this is
it's
after. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that was before, the Batman and Robin bombed.
That was before actually anybody
Yeah.
seen Batman and Robin.
That was before the punning of
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's career.
Yeah.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
I see you.
One last note, and then other stuff's kind of sprinkled throughout when we talk about different scenes. John Travolta absolutely hated his stand-in,
Really?
and his stand-in absolutely hated him.
Okay.
They didn't get along so like their hatred was so vehement that it actually caused production issues and shooting delays.
Okay.
On the other hand, Nicolas Cage's stand-in and him became really good friends, and they worked together on multiple projects after this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. If you're done, I've got two things that I've written down
Sure.
that I told you about that was like, okay, that's interesting. One, there's a scene when there's a line that Travolta really wanted to change is when he says that he has a ridiculous chin.
Oh, I was going to get to that. No, because
Oh,
they thought it was originally an insult to him, but no, is more of Castor Troy mocking the fact that he doesn't look like himself, and he carries himself and has himself in such high regard that he was just offended by the fact that he was having to wear someone else's face.
yeah. Well, we have a surprise guest today. Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Quiet Tom.
Not there. What was the other one you had, Meph?
The other one is about John Woo. While he was shooting, he was secretly editing the movie. So by the time they finished, by the time they wrapped, they already had a rough cut to show the studios, and that means they just refined it a little bit, and we're off to the races. After last week, I had a bit of a discrepancy, and I was gonna open up the show today with an apology because I looked at the release dates because last week, if you remember, I said that Con Air and Face Off literally were almost shooting back to back. There is inconsistency with wherever you look at different sources. Some sources say that Cage actually was doing Con Air and meeting John Travolta to do the 2 weeks thing.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even doing the first flashback scene, all in the same time where he was shooting the last days of Con Air. Some places say it's like 3-4 days after they wrapped Con Air, then he moved to do Face Off, and the discrepancy is because Face Off actually started while Con Air was doing, but Cage didn't actually join in at first. So that's one thing. The other thing is, I said last week that Con Air debuted, and 3 weeks later, Face Off debuted in the theaters. Now, when I went to check it again, I saw 2 months between the two, and I was like, "That's weird." Everywhere in the world says 3 weeks, but my Google thing says 2 months. That discrepancy is because the release date in my country, in Israel, was 2 months later.
2 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
fine.
literally saw it 2 months later between the two, but the U.S. release date was 3 weeks, and in some other European countries, it was actually not 3 weeks. It was 2 months for subtitles, for dubbing purposes, all that stuff. That's the discrepancy. That's what came out a little bit later. Otherwise,
That's fine.
it's all good. Let's see. Yeah, Tom is dealing with some issues, I guess.
Okay.
All right, cool. One more thing. The first thing that John Woo shot was the boat scene.
Hello?
Okay. Hi, Tom. You're good?
I think so now.
Yep.
So the first thing that they shot was the boat scene, but not with Travolta and Cage. They actually shot the sort of that action scene with the stunt guys.
Mhm.
And they went to Paramount and showed it to Paramount. And Paramount loved that scene so much, they literally increased the budget right there and then. So the original budget was around 64, 62. Really hard to gauge exactly what it is because, Hollywood. But and then they literally increased it by a lot. But there were some scenes that were like, okay, this is too costly. That's going to cost like $1 million a day. Cage was supposed to be hijacking a helicopter at one point, but they scrapped it because it was literally costing them way too much. So they said, well, we don't really need it. They just moved it on. All right.
Well, there's also the other scene too where they actually got the only thing that what's odd about this film is for how much gratuitous violence there is in it. The MPAA only had an issue with one scene.
The first scene.
The first scene, yeah. The assassination of Mikey Archer.
Yeah. All right. And according to what I saw, it was the scene itself wasn't really supposed to be at the start. It was supposed to be in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
And they moved it for shock value, B, because John Woo said it disturbed the flow. So he wanted to have an impact, so you'll get Archer's pain, and then.
Well, it also gives the reason as to why Archer is so adamant about catching Troy.
Yeah. All right.
Well.
Cool. Mike, how you doing?
Good. Can you hear
Which
me?
I think adds kind of a weird element to the movie because I don't know if he'd be able to be on the case if that were the case.
Probably
After
not.
I think
They wouldn't
take it-
allow
take it
that.
off.
There's a lot of story inconsistencies in this.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask Mike. Mike, did you actually watch this movie in the theaters?
No.
Did you watch it VHS or?
I
Yeah, I
did.
originally saw it VHS. Then I saw it God knows how many times. I've seen this movie at least 50 times. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy 50 times. I saw it again last night in preparation for today's show. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. There are some things that just don't hold up as well for me. There's a couple things. One is the entire apprehension scene on the airplane. I don't know. Look, I'm fast forwarding too much. I know we're going to get into this later in the show.
That's it. We jump all over the
going-
place, Mike. Go right ahead.
Yeah, we're always
right.
going
All
all
right,
over the place.
so the whole apprehension scene, first of all, that is the world's longest runway.
yes,
The plane just, and I fly all the time for work and to see my kid. So I know that once the pilot hits the gas, we're airborne in 30 seconds or less, give or take. I mean, we're airborne. Thrust kicks in, flaps go, and we're gone. Especially in certain airports where it's depending on the size of the plane, you're just off and gone. I'm just sitting there going and then all of anything involving pistol shooting in this movie is just so freaking 90s. It's so 90s. It's like no one's counting bullets. He's got them behind. That holster that he has behind his back is completely impractical. No one's counting bullets. He says there's one bullet left. I'm like, what about? I'm like, the thing only holds. The thing only holds 7 rounds. But somehow he blows off 30 or 40 in multiple times. I mean, and then the slow motion John Woo stuff. There's a point where he turns around and hits him with the shotgun, and he goes pow, and the guy goes like this.
yeah.
Oh, there's one in the actually in the hangar scene where one of the FBI guys gets shot. You can clearly see the wire that pulls him back.
Yes.
Right. That's what I'm
Hanging
talking
off
about.
him.
Yes. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah. There's
And also,
there's a lot
why are people? If you notice too, in the gangland shot, I know again we jump all over the place.
Yeah.
There are several scenes where the FBI agents they jump through panes of glass to shoot people.
Right.
Why?
There's always in the when they break into the Dietrich apartment, everybody's like, we're not gonna just stand there and shoot or be tactical. We're always just jumping somewhere, shooting sideways. It's like, what the fuck? And in slow motion, because it just looks good. It just looks fantastic.
You forgot the dubs.
We're gonna get to the dubs.
I didn't forget the dubs.
Were there dubs in this movie?
Yeah.
Always.
So fucking many.
I must have
Especially at the
forgotten.
end.
Oh, that's right. Of course.
the end.
It's
Right.
in the walking into the church where when Sean Archer is
Yeah.
the guy, the Castor Troy walks in and it's in slow motion and the dubs are flying everywhere. It's like this is I told Matt backstage, this is the most John Woo-iest scene I've ever seen.
The last scene is the most John Woo scene ever invented in a movie. He sort of perfected it. He's like, broken arrow, That's fine. Hard target, that's okay. No, I'm gonna like step it up a notch in Face Off, and it's gonna be glorious.
And then he went too far with Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah,
Oh,
he did.
Don't. No, all right. Before we dive straight into the movie, we'll have some fun. We'll do our game, and our two big leagues here are gonna have to be quiet because this is Missing Mark.
Don't
Mr.
worry,
Marquis
Mikey.
is where
Don't
we
tell him
take-
I'll text you in the background.
Marquee is where we take 10 posters of movie, have their text written off, and Mike here will have to guess which movie this is. And of course,
Oh
Tom,
my god, I'm gonna suck at
help
this.
it.
oh no, don't
I'm
worry,
j- I'm
don't
not
worry.
doing-
No, we'll
Okay,
add-
that was Mephisto's movie reviews.
yes, don't worry.
Mephisto movie reviews the movie.
Yes. Shut up.
They literally took me off the
He's doing
screen.
reformatting. He's using EvMux.
I
Everybody
know.
loves
I
EvMux.
just
EV
sucks, yeah.
EV sucks, or whatever you want to call it. I have to do it like this because you weren't here on time. That's why. All right,
That
here we
happens.
go.
Well, I was just roaming
Wait,
around.
what?
Shut up.
All right. All right.
All right, Mike. What is this movie?
That's the one with the thing that's in the sky that spins around.
Yes, correct.
is correct.
Damon.
Man, Damon.
Matt Damon stars in. Shit, it's that Latin
It would-
word for what? Elysium.
Mike got it. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Hey, I got the part where it was the round thing that was spinning in the sky.
That's
You
right.
did. You did.
But see, my gut, because I'm a gamer, I wanted to say Halo, but then I didn't want to look like an idiot because I knew it wasn't Halo. I knew it was the other word.
It kind of does like the one. The one.
I was
in
gonna say Halo, but that wasn't it.
All right, you've got a kid. What is this movie?
I have no freaking idea, and I don't.
I'll give you a hint. He's
number-
got probably a big brain. I bet
Yeah.
that
Right.
big head of his.
Yeah. he's
I
got
don't
a
know this
big
one. I know I
brain.
should know this, but I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't seen this movie.
Yeah, it's been said in
Oh.
the chat. Mega Man.
Add Bella in the chat. Welcome back.
Megamind? Is
Bella.
that-
It is Megamind.
Oh, you should know this one.
Clear and present danger.
No, it's the other one.
The other one.
What?
It's a Jack
Oh,
Ryan.
it's the Irish one.
Yes.
Oh God, come on. The car scene. He goes around.
Yes.
The Irish.
Not
God, I've
Irish.
seen this movie 1,000 times. Don't tell me, Tom. Patriot Games.
Patriot Games.
Yay!
Yeah! Yeah!
It's an
Yeah!
oldie but a goldie.
Okay, we're gonna go with
I don't think you're gonna get this one.
wait, I see a guy with a parachute in the back.
It's
Wait,
about
don't tell me it better not be where eagles dare or some shit like that.
no. Chat will help you probably. No,
I'm not
it's
looking
not
at the chat.
Juno.
It's a great movie.
I'm not looking at the chat.
About British people in Burma.
Yeah.
There's Paul's got it.
I was
don't
gonna say.
know.
Well, yeah. I was gonna say. If not, I think
Paul
Obi-Wan
Paul
Kenobi's
Hardy's
in
got
it too.
It
Isn't he?
is Bridge over the River Kwai.
Kwai.
Why?
Kwai, whatever.
Oh, come on, Mikey.
One of the greatest horror films of all time.
This is easy. This is the thing.
yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
There
Good
There you go,
job.
Mikey.
X-Files.
X.
I'm on a roll now. X-Files for 5,000.
Oh, come on.
Come on. Oh, this one.
Tombstone.
Tombstone.
Yes.
Like that.
I'm
This
on
one's a
fire.
little-
What's this one?
little more difficult.
I have no idea. I don't watch horror movies.
Videodrome.
Who?
Videodrome.
Velodrome?
Not
Videodrome.
Velodrome.
Close
Videodrome.
I
enough.
don't know. I never saw it.
It's
Close
video
enough.
game.
Looks like a horror movie. Oh, this is that Angelina Jolie.
Jolie.
Yes.
Of course, you remember that one.
Bullet goes. Don't
Morgan
tell
Freeman's
me.
in it.
He's hunted. He's pursued. He's
You don't need
wanted.
it, but
Wanted.
you.
Wanted. He said it. He said it. He said it.
Oh, he did. Okay.
He said wanted.
Yeah.
It
This is like
counts.
password.
Okay, X-Men.
Which one?
Nightcrawler's in it.
X-Men. Yeah, Nightcrawler.
Uno.
Uno.
What comes after Uno?
Dose? X2?
Ghost is correct.
X2.
Yeah, this is like password. I love this.
Yeah.
X.
All right. Where do I get my check for 40 grand?
As soon as I collect it through Super Chat and Meffistoe,
Oh no.
which will be close to never, almost like that. All right, cool. Thanks, Mikey. That was great. That was really great. Don't worry about it.
It's
as
like
long
super
as-
movie
I did
password. I
pretty-
love it.
I did pretty good.
You did pretty good.
I did all right. Better than
Yeah,
I thought I
You
would.
had people.
You did
that
pretty
knew
good, actually. Yeah.
One. All right. All right. So, movie starts. We see this heartbreaking. Yes, thank you, Tom. We see this heartbreaking scene. To be fair, for the first time in a long time, I've seen this movie, and I was like, oh shit, this is super duper dark way to start your movie. Like super duper dark.
Yeah, let's kill a kid in the
Let's
opening
kill a
scene.
kid, yeah.
Well, also, what took me out of it immediately, and what takes me out of every single scene that this happens in, is that creepy goddamn hand gesture the family does.
That
Where he just like touches his face. It's like, that is creepy as shit. he's mugging him. Like,
do you know that like the script went through like 30 different drafts or something like that? It wasn't like a bad rewrites like they did like in Con Air, which was basically every day they did a rewrite.
Yeah.
But they were trying to figure out different things that they couldn't figure out. They knew what they were going for with the swap, but they didn't know how to piece everything together. So how does the wife know that these are two different people? How does the daughter kind of figures out? How does everybody figures out what's going on? That tactile touch is like, oh, that's something that Castor will never know. And that's how they're going to know who Sean is.
They could have done anything else, though. Seriously.
But then, of course, this leads off to sort of like we have a sort of a double scene where we see Castor and Archer, where Archer is trying to catch Castor, but Castor is just having a bit too much fun with a lady. A very teenage-looking lady. Let's just say, again, we're keeping the creepy factor at like 100, sort of, and we got the.
Well, I think it's an important social commentary because in the 90s, all of the controversies related to priests were at full throttle, full effect in the news. The Catholic Church literally was waking up to a new lawsuit and a new scandal, like Bob Iger at Disney wakes up to a new lawsuit.
Well, and to me, it was unbelievable because it was a woman, right? Like, that was the thing.
Yeah.
It's not a boy, so, no, I'm just kidding.
And of course, you've got Nicolas Cage just chewing scenery
Oh!
as he does.
Oh. Not the bees. The
Dear
bees.
Amy, this is the story of how I got my face off.
It's so weird because from what I gathered, and that's why I was so floored that you said that Travolta didn't get along with his like stunt double or something. Travolta was very liked. He was very outgoing with the cast and the crew.
Yeah.
And Cage was the one that was like method, and he was staying away. And when people asked him why don't you just come join us for like stuff? He's like, nah, I want to stay. In my character.
Well, actually, there's one I was going to bring it up later, but I'll bring it up now. This is actually technically there was a scene where it was actually they were shooting on Nicolas Cage's birthday, and they actually bought him a birthday cake after one of the shot, but he could see it in the background, and he told John Woo, never ever do that again. I'm trying to keep in character.
Yeah,
it's like, Nick, you got to calm down, buddy.
Yeah. I want to touch upon something that it kind of sparked my interest, and it kind of harkens back to Nicolas Cage as Superman, because as soon as he gets out of this car, he's got like a John Woo slow motion going with like super fans blowing in the wind, and kind of looks like he's got a cape. It's like, did John Woo knew about this beforehand? I don't know, but he kind of looks like a superhero with a cape kind of flopping over, even though he is like the bad guy. I don't know.
I could see it. Well, and also
I'm going to
too,
take Mephisto reading too much into movies for 400.
yeah, really.
Well,
I was gonna say
that's true. Like, it's been that way like forever.
too, but
I
also
think John Woo got a discount at Home Depot on fans.
probably.
Probably.
But also, no, Nick Cage actually turned down the role until he read the script because he didn't want to play a villain. But then he realized that he's the hero for most of the film.
Yeah, kind of.
So
It's sort of weird. Like I kind of mentioned it last week, but he basically plays the same kind of role where he's a criminal, but he's a good guy. Because in Con Air, he is a convict like he probably.
hey,
was,
we talked about that. That was self-defense.
Well, it was self-defense according to Andrew Branca, but he was wrongly convicted, or he admitted it. So he signed his own warrant. It's just the judge that fucked him over. So we get one of the things that was a problem. This, like everything that Mike said about the guns and everything throughout this whole hangar where the plane kind of crashes over. One of the things they had a problem with is how to put Castor Troy in a coma. They couldn't figure out one of those things in the script that they couldn't figure out is how to put Castor Troy in a coma. And one of the iterations was like he climbs a tall tower and he falls, but they evidently didn't go with that because it could have made Castor Troy not a smart individual because he managed to fall off a tall tower.
Just as an aside there, Meph, on this too, the Golden Guns. There were only 5 of the props actually made of the Golden Guns, and one of them was sold to Planet Hollywood. Remember that shit show?
Oh yeah, I remember that shit show. I actually ate in Planet
Hey, I like
Hollywood.
the burgers there.
I actually ate in Planet Hollywood, Israel, and it was the most sort of ever see something that is a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy?
Facsimile, yeah.
That.
Yeah.
It was like all the like Schwarzenegger dolls and the Stallone dolls were waxy and looked super fake, and everything there was completely fake. So it was sort of like, okay.
You guys were talking about people that weren't cast for various roles. I know who. Good thing Alec Baldwin wasn't cast for this scene.
Oh yeah, he might have shot fucking Travolta. Oh no, it was supposed to be Alec Baldwin and Bruce Willis as a duo.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, considering when they picked Nicolas Cage for the role, he was supposed to be opposite Johnny Depp. And at the time they picked Nicolas Cage, it was just before he was cast to The Rock. So they weren't sure about either of those two regardless. And then, of course, The Rock came out and was like, oh, Nicolas Cage can pull it. So, all right. So we get Castor Troy in a coma. Archer is like,
just sorry, one more thing about the plane scene.
Go
You know, when Nick Cage actually sings the Big Ride,
yeah.
not an actual song.
Oh yeah.
Until 2020, when a band actually released a song called "The Big Ride," had that line in it.
To be honest, when he sang it, I thought it was like an Elvis song because Cage has a fascination with Elvis.
Yeah,
But
yeah, he loves Elvis.
I didn't know that. Like, I'm
They
not.
didn't want to pay anybody. They wouldn't pay for the stupid rainbow song.
Yeah, and also too,
Thanks, Tom.
the entire plane
That was Nicholas.
crashing into the hangar.
Yeah.
One take. because they destroyed an actual plane.
Oh, that wasn't a replica shit?
No.
Oh, well.
That's because you don't know my nickname in Hollywood. It's One Take Travolta.
Well, Travolta did do a lot of one takes in this movie, apparently. Like,
That's all you're getting out of me.
I
got to go to the gym.
And then
Actually, no, I got to go to the Scientology Center.
No, and then the massage parlor. Yeah.
I'm going to the spa.
Make sure you get wax on.
Well, and you guys brought up the stand-in thing. There's been rumors for years what happened behind the scenes there, and one of the more salacious versions is Johnny made a pass at the guy, and the guy turned him down. And yeah, so I mean, again,
what?
Speculation. Well, there's this persistent rumor in Hollywood, much like, the Weinstein and Cosby rumors, that Mr. Travolta's a little let in the loafers. Let's see. And I like to go to the spa and the gym and see what the guys are up to.
Didn't he come out after his wife died?
I don't think he's actually come out, but there's been more and more. There's been enough talk about it now that, I think it's.
I thought as soon as he took off the toupee, he was like, I'm coming out.
He's like, just a controversy away from coming out of the closet, basically.
Yeah.
Like, I mean. Because that'll just cover up for something else. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, Tom. Also, your Travolta impression is fucking Danny Zuko. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sandy.
All right. So
oh my God.
Before this thing completely goes off the
Mr.
rails.
Carter.
Yeah, we're now at minute 4 of the movie.
No, we're at minute 4. You know what? What's strange, Mike? This is about minute 25.
Really?
And
I feel like we got robbed of a commentary from Travolta and Cage at the same time. It would have been amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I love what you do in this scene. You look so good. I know. I look amazing. No, this is the part where you're supposed to praise me, John. No, but I really think I look amazing in the scene.
See, that's why Travolta wanted that line stricken off the record. It's like that ridiculous chin. It's like, dude, your chin is fine. It's just a butt chin. Don't worry about it.
What'd you say about my chin?
What I want to talk about
I
is
always mess with my chin.
The fact that Archer's coming home. He's got the girl dressed up like a clown. He finally sees the nose ring. By the way, that is the most fake fucking nose ring ever invented. But don't worry about it. And he goes to his wife. He's like, "It's done. It's over. Castor's out." But then when he goes,
did we get to the Danny Masterson scene yet?
Sorry. No, that's later. Oh, we're gonna talk about that for ages.
It was so glorious.
It's just like,
forgot it was Danny.
Wow, this is just telling the future.
So he goes to his wife, is telling her it's all fine. Goes to the the next day, goes to the office, and everybody's celebrating. And he's like, "No, this is for all the people who died." Blah blah blah. And then, CCH Pounder comes into the office. Now we have a black bag mission for you, just to ruin your day just a little bit. And he's like, yeah, Pollux is alive, and he's like, he won't give us the location of that bomb, so you need to go undercover. So what's the mission? Oh, we're just gonna face swap you with somebody else. And by the way, did you notice it's the doctor? I don't remember the actor's name, but it's the same guy from the Necromongers from Riddick. Where is he?
Yeah, it's Colin Fury. No, sorry, Colm Fury.
Yeah. It's like, like I said, I completely forgot it's him. So it's glorious that he's the doctor that does these cutting edge surgeries and stuff. And he will perform this. And of course, just a select few people know about this black bag kind of operation. Don't worry about it. It'll all turn out well at the end.
You would have think they would have told his supervisor about it, at least, like the director of the FBI.
Yeah, like they're gonna maybe tell Victor Lazaro about this because he's the head of the FBI. Oh no, we're gonna just completely black bag this and we'll just go off. And it's strange because today they do grow. They talk about the ear that the guy lost. They can grow an ear on like a rat's back and implant it on somebody. They've done it as like a plastic surgery, which is creepy and weird, but technology and shit. Yep. So he goes home. It's like he says goodbye to the wife. It's like, I just the one mission, and then I'll be right back, and I'll just do my like. He promised her already that he's gonna do a desk job, and it's all gonna be good. It's like, no, just the one though, and she's super upset. And then we get this. So John Woo initially didn't want to make the movie because the special effects weren't up to par, according to him. However, almost everything that they did with the operation was almost full on, just latex and like full body cast that they did for both Cage and Travolta. It looks very fake, especially when you see just the Cage body sitting there in the coma. It looks completely fake. They did a much better job on Travolta. And like you said, Cage couldn't be in the room when they did this scene.
Nope.
Because he was creeped out. We'll call it that. He was creeped out. So just the laser part was CGI. All the rest of it is real effects, like tactile, good effects, old school style, which is kind of missing. Where is it? And of course, they give him that voice changer. It's like, don't hit it. Don't fall over. It might just explode. And then the first thing he does when he gets to the prison is get in a fight where he gets hit in the face.
That was the one thing that really bothered me about that. Was like they could have cut that. This movie, again, goes way too long. 2.5 hours, way too long for this movie. They could have at least cut out that bit about them explaining the microchip. Like, oh yeah, if you get hit or anything, it's going to falter. Which they have to try to use that line later with the daughter.
Yeah.
So how he's trying to say, like, listen to my voice, because he actually gets his voice back.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make any sense here.
I know. But the thing about the prison, he goes to the prison and he gets attacked and jumped. But then he looks at Pollock, and of course we get Cageisms.
Yeah. And you get to see young Thomas Jane.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. What's fun for me is the fact that you see him go into like Cage mode. I'll call it that. And it accompanied with, and it's very subtle, like a guitar kind of, that sort of, it's not a riff, but it goes like crazy guitar moments, like, and it's like, okay, we're ready to go. By the way, the boots. I didn't put it. I didn't.
No, that's what I was going to talk about. First
okay.
off, Erwin. Erwin. It's just an anagram for nowhere. The prison. What? The prison name.
Yeah.
Erwin. It's just an anagram for nowhere.
Okay. No, I was like,
but they were being clever.
They used the boots in.
That's what I'm talking about. It's a Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
The Goombas or whatever were wearing them. So they reused them for some reason. Because, I don't know, they wanted to have a curse on this movie. I don't know.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, Archer as Castor. This is fucking weird. Anyway, so Cage is in the prison. He's established himself as Castor. Pollux even asks him what pills did you give me? And kind of Archer, we'll call him Archer, I guess. Archer's kind of fumbling. Is like, oh, no, I've given you Vivox. It's always given you that since you were a kid. And he kind of gains his trust, but it seems like not really. And then, of course, the real Castor wakes up. And because Archer because Archer got the information that he wanted from Pollux, he reaches out to his informant, and lo and behold, the doors kind of open up. He's waiting for his informant, or is waiting for his operator, and who walks through the door but
himself. Yeah.
Himself.
The other line too is when when Troy wakes up with his face off, but when they get Dr. Walsh in there, he walks up and they just have that big panoramic shot in the reflection of his glasses.
Yes.
What the fuck do you think I want?
Yeah, with him without a face on, which I thought for a minute there, that's gonna be a problem for the NPAA. Apparently it wasn't.
No.
Apparently it wasn't, because it was very brief and not gory enough for the NPAA.
I like the touching of the face with the blood drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of what we thought we would get with the Joker in Batman '89, but not really. That sort of goes way crazy. I love the fact that as soon as Travolta comes in, he immediately goes into his own kind of cage mode. He's like, "Ooh, you're good looking, right? You're hot.
It's good.
Hot.
It's good.
And he.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And when he goes home, he goes past his own house, and he opens up the window. He sees his wife is like, goes to a dead stop, and he looks at her like a piece of meat, like a peach, because he can eat.
It's definitely a peach. It's definitely it's not a piece of meat. It's definitely a peach. If it's Castor Troy, it's a peach.
Sweet and succulent.
Correct.
As we would say, as succulent as a Georgia peach down here in the South.
And then, of course, he goes into his house and he looks at his daughter, and as he kind of he wants to be with his daughter, I guess, but not really. As soon as he's looking at her, he's like, "Why do you have that shit all over your face?" Kind of attitude, as if he's like a dad or something, but it doesn't really work. You know what?
Well, they also have that line too where he's sitting there and he's reading over one of the journals.
Yeah, the diary.
It's pathetic.
Yeah. Right, we'll move forward a little bit.
Oh, I was going to mention the bomb too.
Yes.
Before it gets saved. Mike Werb said when he wrote the script, he wrote that the bomb had the longest lag time in movie history.
Yeah.
Just so it could have it so the plot could keep going.
Yeah, and
Right.
it's so weird because the bomb gets diffused halfway through the movie, so it's literally inconsequential at a certain point.
No, don't you get it, man?
Yeah,
I'm going to be a hero.
the fact that kind of Castor realizes that, oh wait, I'm the law now, so I can do stuff that I couldn't do as Castor. So he makes a deal with Pollux. Pollux realizes what's going on, and he uses that to find out the location of the bomb. When he gets to the bomb, is like, everybody get out. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't worry, get out. And he's like, presses the few buttons, and suddenly he's the hero.
And of course, it had to have the animated girl in there too.
Of course. I want to get to Danny Masterson. God damn it.
No, I was gonna say. Well, we're gonna skip the prison escape then.
Okay, no, it's not really the prison escape.
Yeah, because the prison escape happens before the Masterson scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do the prison escape. As we lost Mike. Right here.
He should be right back.
Yeah, I know. One thing I want to mention, and that's before the escape scene is this, that sort of switch between, you see the switch between Archer and Castor, because when Archer was there as himself, he's like, I want to like salute to the fallen and all that stuff. And when Castor is being Archer, he's like, oh, everybody, praise me. I just stopped the bomb. I'm the hero, blah, 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 blah. And he's not talking to anybody. He's not.
And also, wouldn't all the people catch on to how different he is, especially when he just grabs his secretary's ass out of nowhere?
Yeah, kind of.
Like, you're a completely different person. What happened to you? And also with the date night thing, Eve kind of picks up on it a little bit, that he's obviously.
Well, of course she would. I mean, and that's where the audience is going to lose you if his wife doesn't even kind of figure it out right away. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And Margaret Cho as Chang even has that line. Did you have surgery recently? And he has that pause because someone removed that stick from your ass.
Yeah. And it's sort of like, it comes from the fact that he reads the diary and he's like, what a fucking loser. He's not even sleeping with his wife. And he takes joy out of doing this. Not because, first of all, he likes sex. Like, Castor loves sex. It's apparent from the start. But he also uses his position to like, oh, this is like easy. I don't even have to put in too much work. I just put in 2 lobsters on the table and I've got this bitch lined up.
Plus, don't never forget that you can eat a peach for hours.
So, yeah.
For hours.
Yeah.
And she does kind of say, well, what comes over you? Like, what came over you, Sean? This is irregular. And then, of course, the prison break. As
the whole setup that they had before with Dubov, because Pollux asked Pollux, like, why is this guy mad at me? Don't you remember, man? He went and slept with his wife and his sister after he went to prison.
No. He had a sex sandwich.
Yeah.
Sex sandwich with his wife and his sister. I was like,
this movie is so 90s. Sorry, Tom, go ahead.
What's really funny about this is you guys were mentioning how this was initially going to be a Schwarzenegger-Stallone vehicle.
Yeah.
And then Escape Plan was the movie you couldn't remember the name for.
That's what it was.
And it's funny because there is a lot of similarities between the two in that respect, at least in that isolated bit, especially with the prison break sequence going on and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's the fact that we'll call it Archer. Archer is it's like, I want to take advantage of the fact that Dubov is getting fucking electroshock therapy. And I'm gonna get myself in the same room and kind of work him out because he's a big fucking dude.
Well, no, it's because they take the grav boots off when they're getting electroshock.
Yeah. I'm going to be in that room where I can motivate him to be on my side, even though he kind of thinks I like made that sex sandwich and all that stuff. And he manages to rile him up, get himself free.
Well, because he tells him the truth. Because he said, I never had sex with your wife or your sister. Because technically, Sean Archer never did. So he's not lying.
And Dubov kind of makes sure everything is okay. And they go on a fucking rampage. And Dubov kills a few people. But when it comes to like that last one, Archer stops him. It's like, Dubov, no.
Yeah, because it was the 2 people at the console. He's like, stop.
Yeah. And it
All right.
kind of gets to the point where Dubov should have shot those people because they kind of made him fall at the end. Not them specifically, but
Yeah.
um,
What's odd too is how did Archer know how to turn off and overload the system so it would overload all the grav boots?
D- don't think about it. Just don't. Otherwise, it will ruin it for you. But the fact that he knows that Dubov is a criminal, but because he helped him, he's trying to get him out regardless.
Trying to save him. Yeah.
So there's a moment there where he doesn't really want Dubov to die, because at the end of the day, Archer, as a man, I don't think he agrees with this kind of prison.
No, and he has his own kind of sense of justice too, because even though it would be they'd technically be aiding and abetting in whatever else they're doing in Dietrich's loft area, he tells Sasha before he leaves, goes, no matter what happens, Sean Archer will never bother you again.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
And the whole point of when he gets to the prison guard, who, for the life of me, I don't remember the name of the actor, and I won't pull it up, but he plays Drew Carey's brother-in-law or brother in the Carey show. That's where I remember him from. But
he's been in a lot of stuff. He's a character.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. But the point is, when he goes into the prison at the very start, that guy tells him, "There's no laws here. I'm the law. I'm like the high authority. I don't give a fuck about your rights or what you need to get. It's like I'm the supreme law here." And that's where Archer's like, "Yeah, I don't like this place," and that's why he's helping Dubov, because it's kind of fair.
Well, because Archer even says at a point, "I'm gonna have you fired."
Yes.
Yeah.
When he goes out, it's like, "I'm gonna have you fired," and that guy literally died.
Yeah. Well, there's also one of my favorite bits about that, because it's a true sign of quality, Tom, whenever you hear a Wilhelm scream.
Oh yeah.
I used to have that on my soundboard, but I don't have it on this one.
I don't have it on my soundboard either. I have that sound effect, but I don't have it on my soundboard.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the fact that Cage was afraid of heights. One of those scenes is this, and I think they used a double, his double for this.
Yes, they did.
Right. I don't remember if there's a close-up shot. I can take a look, but I don't think there's a close-up shot. And you can definitely tell that this is not.
That's not Nicolas Cage.
The guy. Yeah, you can definitely tell this is not the guy. It's not. It doesn't really matter.
I did all my own stunts.
Well, he did his own. He did most of his stunts in Gone in 60 Seconds. He was like, he was doing most of the driving, and he went to extra training with the stunt guy. Because he loved driving cars. But in this one, it was like, he really didn't want to do stunts. Not really.
No.
And especially not jumping out of
Not that
heights.
stunt. No.
Yeah. But I
as an aside too, he'd be dead.
Well, you can't, the guy did make the jump.
But for how far he is offshore, he's dead.
Oh yeah. He doesn't have a chance in hell in swimming, even though you can see boats around that rig. Yeah. Where are we? Okay. Sean or Castor, more likely, doesn't remember Mike's birthday.
The anniversary of
dead son's birthday. And he's kind of, it's like, his wife is like, "Why are you like this?" It's like, "Oh, I'm dealing with some stuff." It's my way of dealing with this day. Okay, and she drags him over and she starts crying. And sort of Castor, as Archer, has that moment, but not really. And he doesn't have that moment because he doesn't know he has a son, right? He doesn't have that father-son relationship or didn't have that father-son.
Well, even though he does have a son that we find out later.
Yes, but the only interaction he had with him is zero, right?
Yeah. Well, he didn't even know.
Yeah. I think we kind of skipped the Danny Masterson thing, to be honest.
It's still coming up.
Still coming up?
Yeah.
Man. There's so much stuff going on in this movie. And
there's a lot.
Yeah, this is an hour 20 in this whole scene.
So I said there's a lot of superfluous stuff in this film that could have been cut.
So when Castor comes back from the thing, he finds out about Castor being dead, and he's like, "Where's the body?" And he's like, "We didn't find anybody, so he's alive." It's like, then he's. I think he says he's already here, and he goes into overdrive. Like, we need to find him, and we see kind of Sean Archer in a car. He's in a stolen car. He stole it from like a valet, and
that's what's so odd too.
On the radio, he hears about there's an APB out for Castor Troy and all that stuff.
Well, that's what's odd is the fact that they cut him getting his surviving the trip to get back to LA.
Yeah,
but they added all this extra stuff.
Kind of. Like, in certain points it kind of rushes through the story, and in other points it kind of stays drags, and it's kind of weird. And like I said, there weren't lots of on-site rewrites. There was a lot of beforehand. Like, we're talking about 30 different drafts from 1990 to 97 because they couldn't figure out different things.
Well, and also, again, as we mentioned, the fact that it got the rights got expired and got repurchased, and them having to do rewrites because of that.
Yeah. All right. So Castor Archer calls his wife in the hospital, and he's like, "Your husband is not your husband." But she's like, "What?" And it's done. It's a very short conversation because Archer realizes, well, when I'm speaking, she can hear a different voice.
Castor Troy.
That's not going to work. So he goes out to Dietrich, to Sasha's brother.
The Hasslers, yes.
Yeah. And
what's great is too, you know who's playing in the background? You could tell this movie's so 90s.
Okay.
Because it has trip hop in it.
Yeah.
The soundtrack, it's tricky.
Okay.
It's like, wow, this is super 90s.
Yeah, this is very super 90s. The guy playing Dietrich is Nick Cassavetes.
Yeah.
The brother of the other Cassavetes or the son of the other Cassavetes?
The brother.
The brother. Yeah. All right. It's the brother of the guy who did Buffalo 66, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. I love the fact that he feeds him like some sort of a drug.
And how they keep questioning him too, like, how do you know so much about that? Especially like the code to get into the house and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, I slept with his wife.
Yeah.
And then we have the perfect thing where he goes, I want his face off.
Yeah. You want his face off? It's like, yeah, I want his face off. In this drug-infused kind of moment. And it's like, okay, no more drugs for this guy. Which is a perfect line. I at this particular moment, I do love Dietrich because he's fucking hilarious. He was really hilarious. Later on, not so much. Welcome back, Mike.
Sorry about that. I had an urgent call from my kid's mom about my 11-year-old, and I just had to take it. So
no problem.
Fine. Everything's fine. I just had to
family first.
I just had to take the call.
Yeah. Speaking about kids, we got some more Cage. This is
God, those eyeballs.
This is Cage trying to sober up, or Sean Archer trying to sober up from the drugs that Dietrich gave him, as he's like trying to wash.
I'm me.
He washes the high away, and he's looking in the mirror, is like, the fuck is going on? And the wake up call is Sasha's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then it switches up to Castor, and we get this.
Yes, we have a portent of the immediate future of what Danny Masterson really is.
Yeah. How could
Oh
we
wow!
not-
They were showing. It only would have been more perfect if he was actually already in the prison for being a rapist.
Let's just call it like it is. There weren't the witnesses did. No, never mind. I'm not gonna go into that. I'm pretty sure he did that shit, but I'm pretty sure he was framed by the wrong people. Let's just call it that. Okay. I was following the case, so let's just say
All I have to do is say is
Andy
that
Masterson is not a it's not a goody two shoes.
no. I just say is what Castor does to him though is exactly what a lot of the fathers of those women would like to do to Danny Masterson.
Probably. It kind of leads to the fact that he kind of builds the rapport with his daughter, actually.
With Jamie,
And
yeah.
something that the real Sean Archer couldn't do because he was so hang up on the dead kid. He kind of automatically neglected the other kid, which is, happens. Sadly, I know of a few families that it happened to where it's not it's basically a sibling. One sibling died because of an accident or suicide, all that stuff. And the other kid or other kids get sort of neglected because the parent is so grief-stricken that they can't really function anymore as a father or as and the other side as a mother, which is a big shame, but it happens. And Castor as Archer kind of steps in, and he's like, he gives her a cigarette, and she even criticizes the guy just almost raped me, and you're talking as if it's nothing. It's like, no, I'm trying to teach you some stuff. He gives her a cigarette and was like, do you have protection? Yeah, and it's like, I was just about to be raped. You're talking about condoms? He's like, no, protection. He brings out this switchblade, and he's like, this is a perfect setup and a payoff for later.
It's like the butterfly knife, and what's so funny is the actual writer of Kick-Ass made this as an homage, because Big Daddy gives Hit Girl 2 butterfly knives.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. It's like stab it in the thigh and twist it. And it's exactly what she does later on in that awesome John Woo scenes. It's perfect. All right. What time is it? You know what? Let's do a stop right there. Because, there's a few big scenes coming up. But I really want to play our next game. Let me set this up real quick. All right.
Oh, is it time for Mexican Wins More Money on the show?
No. This time, we don't want correct answers. What we want is an honest answer, because our next game is called Screen Fighter.
Round 1, fight.
Screen Fighter is very simple. For the uninitiated, is where we take 2 movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. If there's no discernible difference between the two, both of them are good or both of them are bad, we fall into our criteria, which is Friday evening, Saturday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with their significant other. 2 movies in a vacuum. Which one will you choose, or which one will you pop in? Here we go. We talked about this before. Super Mario Brothers or Spider-Man 3. What?
Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3. Tell me why, Mike.
Because John Leguizamo is a Latinx F-head.
He may be, but I'm going to go with Super Mario on this one.
Well, that answer would be wrong because John Leguizamo is a super moron F-head.
No, less to do with him and more to do with the quality of the film.
So, crazy over the top Toby or crazy over the top Dennis Hopper? Which one will you choose?
Dennis Hopper.
Oh, my feelings. Which one will you choose?
Dennis Hopper.
Chat, please participate. Throw your gauntlet
Typically,
down.
I would go with Bob Hoskins and Dennis Hopper, but wow, I've seen the Mario Brothers movie way too many times. I cannot watch that movie again, even though I'm gonna have to watch it again.
I know.
Coming up.
Why is it a bad thing?
I would rather watch Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3 is a much worse film.
Yeah, it is bad.
Chat.
People buy into this hype that Mario Brothers is bad. I don't understand it.
It is bad.
I love that
How,
movie.
though?
I love this movie, Super Mario Brothers '93, until John Leguizamo became an F-head.
And that being said and put aside, though, no, like seriously, because I ask everybody that every time when they go like it's a crappy movie, it's like, but why? And they can't give me any good ansers because I think they're just jumping on the train of it's a bad movie.
I don't think it's a bad movie.
Goombas in it, to be honest.
I didn't like the Goombas. I didn't like the setup of it. I really didn't like Dennis Hopper.
But what did a Goomba look like? Like
Small.
back then, what did we know about Mario Brothers, right?
Yeah, it's a small fucking mushroom guy.
Yeah.
Well, we're
But
gonna
they
get
were
to that
big-
when we
they
discuss
were
the
big, tall, and
that movie.
very.
You need to have me
very
be a
black.
part of that then,
Yeah.
if you're going to
Yeah,
discuss
yeah,
that.
definitely. Because that's where movies
Andre
with
loves
really
it,
bad
too.
productions.
Yeah,
'Cause,
we're gonna try to have Andre on and you to talk all about it.
As a
because-
sneak
No,
preview.
I understand some people just don't like it because of the whole Mario aspect, but my whole thing is like nobody really knew what a Mario movie would be at that point, so that's the closest thing we got to it. Basically, I'd say it works, but to me, I like it just because it's kind of crazy and it's like a cyberpunk movie.
A little bit.
Basically.
It is a little like Blade Runner-esque in a lot of ways in some of the shots. But I did like the little ba-bomb. That was a nice little touch.
Of the two, I'm picking Super Mario Brothers because I really didn't like Spider-Man 3.
No, it's fine.
Black Swan or Happy Gilmore? Artsy Fartsy
Ugh.
or Bob Barker?
I'm gonna go with Happy Gilmore.
Price is wrong,
All
bitch.
right, Happy Gilmore. I
Yeah,
recently
Happy Gilmore.
rewatched it. It's fucking hilarious.
Why won't you go to your home? Are you
Yeah.
too
What's your
good for
home?
Go to your hole. The price is right, bitch. All right, it's for me. It's a Happy Gilmore all the way. I didn't like Black Swan. I found it boring a bit.
It's what Adam Sandler didn't, jump the shark.
Kind of, I guess. All right, take him to the Greek or get him to the Greek or the Last Boy Scout.
Ooh.
Mike?
Ugh. I'm gonna go with get him to the Greek.
Okay. Reason?
I didn't really like the Last Boy Scout.
Okay. Tom?
I'm going with the Last Boy Scout here.
Really?
Although I like Get Him to the Greek. I mean, it's Bruce Willis.
Yeah, but wasn't his finest work.
Actually, it's pretty good. It's got Damon Wayans in him. Why is Damon Wayans like off the poster? Is that the Chinese poster or what?
No, probably. I don't know.
I'm serious. Like he's just like completely removed from the poster.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like on this side.
He's right behind him. Yeah.
like this side of. I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, Get Him to the Greek was fun,
Yeah.
but I don't know. The Last Boy Scout, and not only that, Last Boy Scout has that great scene in it where Bruce Willis figures out that his girlfriend's cheating on him because the toilet seat's up. And to this day, I keep that note. So if I go to a chick's house and her toilet seat's up, I leave.
It's good because he almost shot the fucking guy in the closet. Literally, the guy hiding in the closet. Feelings?
It has to be Get Him to the Greek. That was one of the films that I wanted actually on for Best Friends Month. I love that movie.
Oh my god, I hate that movie so much. For me, it's head or gut, sir. All day, every day. Dude, The Last Boy Scout is one of those Bruce Willis movies that are so fucking good. He dances the jig at the end of it, and it's hilarious. Oh, and he did it because he won a bet. Oh fuck! It's so good. I have to rewatch it like tomorrow. It's got Halle Berry in it. It's got Damon Wayans in it, where you're supposed to believe he was a quarterback, but not really. And he has one of the darkest of dark stories, which involves another dead kid as a backstory, which is fucking phenomenal.
See, Disney's got dead moms. 90s action films got dead kids.
I guess. Right. From Hell or Monsters versus Aliens?
Oh, boy.
Monsters versus Aliens.
Okay. Tom?
Has
a hard time.
I'm going to go with From Hell on this one, I guess.
Okay. Feelings?
It's a very odd Japanese poster. I really thought I was going to like From Hell because I thought it was going to be a direct adaptation from the novel. Was not. Nope. And that their version of who Jack the Ripper was really odd. And the fact that the last victim wasn't the last victim of Jack the Ripper. So it's just really weird the way that they've put it that way. On the other hand, Monsters vs. Aliens was actually just kind of fun. It was silly, Mike, but you know.
Yeah, it was silly and dumb, and I was sitting there watching
fun.
this, I'm like, why am I watching this movie?
Yeah.
I watched Monsters vs. Aliens with my kids. I don't really like these animated ones. It really doesn't matter if they're Pixar or not, because most of the Pixar stuff I don't really like. But it's a fun. It's a sort of a fun adventures kind of a thing. It's a throwaway movie. I didn't really quite like From Hell because I really like the Jack the Ripper story, but I like it way more grounded, and it went a little bit off the rails in From Hell, and I don't know, there wasn't any chemistry between Depp and it's Uma Thurman, right?
No, it's Heather Graham.
Heather
Yeah,
Graham.
Heather Graham. Yeah, who is always hot.
Yeah, but there wasn't any chemistry. She like.
I mean, come on, Mike, Roller Girl.
Oh, so smoking hot.
Yeah. Matchstick Men. It's a Cage movie. Or Harold and Kumar Escape Guantanamo Bay.
Matchstick Men.
I haven't really seen Harold and Kumar Escape. So here we go.
That's a little bit tougher.
That's a tougher choice. The Warriors or Matchstick Men?
I never saw it. I never saw Warriors.
Okay.
Definitely go see it. It's so fun.
It's worth it. It's really, like, it says 79. It's from 79, but it's really good.
And it's 79 New York because it is grimy.
Yeah. Tim, come out to play.
Yeah. Paul, the Texas strap, man. The Texas strap.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Matchstick Men because Warriors is a pretty good movie, but I would rather watch Nicolas Cage and fucking Sam Rockwell
anything
movie. Yeah. Tom? I know what Tom's pick is if he's not here. He's gonna pick the Warriors.
Oddly, it's a real tough call because I really like Matchstick Men because I love con movies.
Yep.
Cage is great. Rockwell's great in it. In fact, it was almost that, but actually I was going to go with the Warriors. But
all right, I haven't seen The Good Boys.
That is a fantastic From Dusk Till Dawn poster.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you guys are gonna kill me for this one.
Go back. What was the last one?
The Warriors versus Matchstick Men.
Well, the Warriors up, hands down.
That's what I said, Tom.
I'm gonna pick that for you.
Matchstick Men was a horrible fucking movie.
Really?
I know, but
Yes.
Oh. Right. From Dusk Till Dawn or Knocked Up.
Not even a contest. Dusk Till Dawn. Knocked Up was another horrible movie.
Knocked Up is one of my favorite all-time romantic comedies. However, From Dusk Till Dawn is by far a better movie to watch. Hey, I liked it and I love it. But Dusk Till Dawn,
I don't knock
for
on
obvious
anybody's
reasons.
choice.
Yeah, Tom. You Latino. Just because I have bad taste doesn't mean I can't have taste. Wait, hold on. That doesn't make sense. Hold on.
Well, and you got.
Just because my movie selection choices suck doesn't mean they suck. Wait, hold
on. I'll give you that, Mike. Of the pairing that these two have made together, like they've did like 3 movies together or 2 movies together.
Yeah, this was the least of the train wrecks. All of them being train wrecks.
Yes, and also this was written by Tarantino.
This was the most interesting.
Yeah, Tom.
But I will go with From Dusk Till Dawn because
Tom, Mr. Quentin Tarantino guy.
Why are you ripping on From Dusk Till Dawn? Knocked Up is a horrible friggin' movie.
I love when Dusk Till Dawn. I love that movie.
I don't understand what the argument is.
Cheech Marin playing 4 different roles because the other guy,
it's an amazing
film. 2 of them had to back out. Yeah. And come on,
got red pussy here, yellow pussy.
You got women, you got
Snapper
pussy.
We got penny pussy.
How can you forget the great Tom Savini as Sex Machine?
That's right.
Man. All My Feelings introduced me to Tom Savini, and I was like, I like this guy.
Fantastic.
All right. So, before the proverbial shit hits the fan, Archer, as Castor, is being introduced to Adam, his son, and he immediately goes into like, oh, it's Mike. He even calls him Mikey.
Is like, Mikey?
Yeah, Mikey. And he does that touch. And
creepy
and
shit.
Sasha's like, what the fuck are you doing, Castor? And he hugs him, is like, oh, I can't. He kind of starts to cry, and Sasha's like, what the fuck are you doing? And of course, everything goes straight into hell because Castor kind of figures out, well, they're probably going to go to Dietrich, so I'm just going to shoot up the place with the entire SWAT team of the FBI, and they raid the place, and it's bullet storm all over the place. People jumping all over the place. They shoot fucking 50 caliber shots, and I don't know what the fuck they were doing, but there are certain places where Archer kind of grabs the guy and he turns him around and he gets the face mask off, and it's one of his co-workers. So he hits him in the face, knocks him out, and then he fires into like the side. And Dietrich kind of Dietrich doesn't know what's going on. It's like, oh, he killed him, and that kind of ends it. But it leads off to cinematically. It leads off to that standoff between Archer. I've got this. Like I said, it's not really this, but they're on the other side of a double-sided mirror. Not a double-sided mirror, but there's one mirror on one side and one mirror on the other side. And Archer is looking at himself as Castor, and Castor is looking at himself as Archer, and they're both kind of aiming the bullet straight at themselves. Kind of have that switcheroo again.
I think this is a super cool scene. I love this. Cinematically speaking, I thought this was awesome.
Yeah, me too. And that's why I'm kind of hanging onto this scene where they finally kind of release a bullet, and you see the bullet kind of goes through the mirror, both of the mirrors, and they both kind of dodge that bullet, and with true kind of slow motion stuff. This is exactly the sort of scene where it's required to have that slow motion thing, and it works really well. It's one of the highlights of this whole mess of a fucking raid. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Oh, then we have the agent with the grenade launcher, who was the
agent with the grenade launcher. Let's go there. Oh wait,
who was you know who that was, right, Meth?
No.
That was the business partner of Patrick Bateman,
what?
the gay guy
Oh, it's Nawanda.
in American Psycho. Yeah.
It's the guy playing Nawanda in Dead Poet Society. Yeah, I forgot he was in this movie, and I was like,
Yeah. That's the guy with the grenade launcher.
and he gets promptly killed by fucking.
Because he's loud. Because he's like, why are you upset? It's just Pollux Troy. He's dead.
Yeah, because he shot Pollux. It's like he killed Pollux Troy. Which why is Pollux there doing the raid?
Well, because he was the one who did all the reconnaissance. Who told?
Yeah, but he's like
Troy.
a criminal.
Well, and also he wasn't the one who was like really effective, really, in most of the things. So you would think that he's the mastermind, really. You would think that he would be the one standing in the back because he's the logistics guy.
I have no idea why it was there, and you have that sort of a not really a setup and a payoff, but it's sort of like it comes all the way around where Castor ties the shoes of Pollock at the start, and then when he's dead, he ties the shoes again. I can't really show Pollock with all the blood because YouTube. But he has that moment again where he sees him dead with the laces untied, so he ties up the laces, even though it's kind of pointless. But it harkens all back around the fact that the only person that Castor actually loves is Pollock. Or Pollux, sorry.
Yeah, and it really plays into the fact that each of the characters has their own tradition.
Yeah.
That signifies them. The tying of the shoes and also the weird, creepy face touching.
Yeah.
A hand face.
The hand face. And of course, after this whole debacle, Victor Lazaro goes into Archer's office. And you can already tell he's in the midst of actually having a heart attack. So Castor's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I am Castor Troy. And he hits him in the fucking chest. How the fuck does that not leave a fucking mark? I don't know. But nobody seems to check it later. Right? He kills Lazaro, basically, causes a massive heart attack. As Archer goes into his own house and scares the bejesus out of his wife. It's like, you killed my son. And he's like, don't look at this face. Don't listen to my voice. But like, understand, I'm your husband. And when she doesn't realize what's going on and he realizes that she's never going to trust him, he's like, remember, Archer, like Sean's blood type is O. Castor's blood type is AB.
B.
You can check it for yourself. You're a doctor. And he puts that doubt in her mind just enough for her to actually like sleep
Check.
next to,
Yeah, that's all we need. All she needed is the doubt.
Yeah, and they even that whole blood type is even set up right at the beginning where they're talking about that mission, and when they're talking to the doctor, it's like in all intents and purposes you'll be Castor Troy, but the blood type, and that kind of puts that in his mind. And I love that when it's really good writing to put that there. It's something that you tell and not show, because you can't really show blood type,
Right.
and unless it's right at, like when she actually checks it, you can see her put it under the microscope and all that stuff. That's where it comes out. But when you set it up, it has to be something said, and it's really a throwaway line because you don't really notice it when it happens. But it comes to when he's talking about, like, listen, the blood types, check it out. And when she does, she realizes, oh, fuck, I've been sleeping with somebody who's not really my husband.
What's interesting, too, about that, too, is just the fact that their actual specific blood types are their character archetype.
Oh, so Cage is AB for real?
Yeah.
Oh.
No. They're actual character archetypes for Troy being AB. Selfish.
Oh, okay.
Take everything.
Take everything, but can't give away.
Everything.
And give everything and not take away. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, there's a cool little piece of movie trivia, but that's why we're on this channel.
Yep.
Exactly. Exactly. This is the place where
this is not Mephisto's ghetto ass B level movie. This is advanced PhD level.
We try.
You come here for knowledge and stupidity, all wrapped up in the same bow.
You guys bring the knowledge. Mexican Ironman brings the stupidity.
Yeah.
As Spinal Tap says, it's just a fine line between clever and stupid.
Yeah. And love and hate.
What's sexist about it?
I love the fact that as soon as she finds out, cut to, it's like Archer is right there behind her. It's like, oh, when I met this girl, she was a vegetarian and I took her to a steak dinner and she ate bread. It's like, guys, definitely not my wife. I definitely took her to a steak place and she definitely ate that fucking burger. That's what I'm thinking. That's all I was thinking. Oh, this is a funny story where I took my wife to like this burger joint.
She ate bread like a bird.
She ate bread and the burger and everything in between. But they brought her burger dish first. And by the time I got mine, she finished hers. And the guy serving us was like, what the fuck? And I was like, that's my kind of lady. That's my kind of lady.
Wait, was that early on in the dating thing?
No, that was later on. I think we were close to being married at the time.
What's great about that?
I did like his shock face.
Yeah, well, they did have that bit after, then Castor comes in and misses Archer, but he says that line about lies, secrets. This is almost like a real marriage.
Yes. And I was like, oh, you've been married for a long while. This is this. Oh, you've been married too, aren't you? Yes, correct. Correct. Now we get to the glory scene. Because this is really cool. Now you can already see the doves at the back.
Uh-oh, the dove scene.
Yeah. The dove scene.
Here we go.
They're already huddled at the back. As sort of like Castor is there as Archer, trying to pay respects, even though he doesn't give a fuck at all. And Archer is there with like the picture of his son that he took from the house. And he is bawling his eyes out in front of whatever confession stand or the candles or whatever it is. And then it goes into high gear because
you should be able to get a shot where the doves are flying.
It's so hard with VLC to get the exact point. It's really hard.
Look, we all know it happened. Because it always happens.
We all know it happened. The fact that there's so many doves between him and like between Cage and Travolta is completely hamming it up.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Cageisms. He's completely hamming it up. It's like
He almost kind of had to with that many. I'm surprised he didn't have to like start waving his arms because some of them were just walking away from him and not flying off.
I want to get to a good point. Let's do the Mexican standoff. Yes, I said it.
Well, that's what it is.
That's racist.
No, it's also accurate. What the
It's
hell?
also accurate.
Why does this happen all the time in Mexico? Like, there's only like one taco left, and they're all standing there going, "I'm going to eat it." No,
I don't want to choo choo. No, I choo choo. No, I am not going to get on the choo choo. I know ride choo choo. No, you ride choo choo. No, I choo choo before you ride choo choo.
So
I'm not going before him.
Like in Mexico, did they just call it a standoff?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah, but
standoff,
we're all Mexican. That's what makes it a Mexican standoff.
That's what I'm saying, and they do it all the time over everything. Like, yeah, that's
when
what
you're
I
already
picture.
Mexican, it's a standoff. But when you're on the outside,
And you know
it's a Mexican standoff.
The problem is that we really don't know how you finish a Mexican standoff. The truth is, it's you do a Mexican hat dance.
Yeah. Well,
And
I mean,
whoever
the
does the
reality
best
is,
dance wins.
yeah, Mexicans are not exactly the quickest decision makers. That's where this thing came
like-
from.
I see we are not going to solve this with guns.
I'm just
So
glad
we
you
will
said
put the
it
guns
wrong.
away and we will solve this with our
With a
dancing
dance.
skills.
With the dance, flamenco player.
Exactly, yes. And then the band just shows up, a
Castanets.
mariachi band just shows up out of nowhere.
Let's just call
That's
it.
why there's so many of them.
Let's just call it how it is. Eli Wallach did the best Jewish Mexican ever. In The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Wow, that's a
Let's face
deep
it.
pull.
You're not totally wrong because I think
I'm
most
gonna-
people thought he was Mexican for years because of that.
I'm gonna go yes. I think my family still thinks he's Mexican.
Don't you ever say nothing bad about
think I'm
Eli in his
kidding?
house.
You know
He's the
where,
greatest Mexican ever.
you know where sort of like the chips fell for me when I kind of realized, oh shit, it's he's a Jewish guy trying to play a Mexican. You know that movie, The Vacation, where Cameron Diaz goes to Britain to be with
Kate
Jude Law,
Winslet's? Yeah,
and
yeah.
Kate Winslet comes to L.A. and
Yeah.
Eli Wallach is the guy she kind of connects with, and my wife is like, "Do you know who this guy is?" I'm like, "No." It's like, "That's Eli Wallach." Okay. He played the Mexican in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and he's Jewish. And my wife said it was like explosions in my head. That's fucking hilarious. So we get Archer does an eye signal, and then everything kind of
Kicks
goes
off.
haywire. Right? I think he shoots the henchman
two
holding
henchmen.
his daughter. Right?
Yeah. What's odd too is Sasha saves Eve, like she knows who this lady is.
Yeah. And
Wait,
then
what?
she actually does save Archer because he's about to get a bullet, so she
Yeah.
goes for him. And I don't. When does she say to him? It's like, take care of my kid.
Yeah.
I think it's right before this, right? It's like, I know you're gonna take care of my kid. And she dies, and that's it. And
Yep.
it just continues to be super crazy because Archer takes or Castor takes Archer's daughter. Well, they do have a fight where they hit each other in the throat, so that voice change. And this time around, the voice changer actually stops working because they hit it enough times in the throat. So it's
No, it's just the screenwriters remembered. Oh shit, we wrote that before.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the daughter intervenes. And what I want to talk about is if you would have gotten a fucking stab to the thigh with that knife twists and
Yeah.
the wound not closing, you are not walking.
No, you're not.
No.
Oh, you are not even hobbling. You
No.
are not walking.
You'd be lucky
No.
with that she didn't actually end up severing your femoral artery and you just bleed out right there.
That's
Yeah.
incredibly accurate. Yep.
Yeah. But he was running to that boat. Not walking, he was running to that boat. Like, okay, I get. Yeah, they had to do the setup and payoff where he introduces the knife and he gets stabbed. That's movie writing. That's clever writing. That's supposed to be there. Fine. However, that doesn't really work with the rest of the actions that you're gonna do because he goes off to the boat.
Okay, I was gonna say just right there at the boat scene, this made me laugh out loud twice.
Tell me.
When he gets to the boat, the guy on the boat, he stops and just shoots him like 20 times. It was so unnecessary.
Now you can tell it's not Travolta doing this,
Yes.
and the guy does a full-on backflip
Yeah.
as he's getting drilled with that MP3. It's like
Right, which is not how things would happen in the real world.
no,
at
he
all.
was just
No.
he would crumble, but
he'd
it's just
crumble.
funny because it is an action movie and every action has to be sort of overt because we just left the 80s and into the 90s and everything.
Well, it's not just that.
Exaggerated.
Like Wu is bringing the kung fu movie element to this, and that's kind of what he did, and it worked.
It
a
worked
few times, but then it became his gimmick, right?
Yeah.
So then at that point, it's like he's got to find something new to where that's where my whole joke comes with Mission Impossible 2, which, I mean, I watched that movie for the first time since it came out this last year here for the new one, and it really didn't age as bad as I expected it to. And I think that's because at the time we were just being inundated with his wooisms, because it wasn't just him doing it. It was all the copycats that came around him. So like everything started doing the John Woo-isms to where we actually came up with the term Woo-isms, right? You know, whether it was floating doves or whatever, birds, slow motion in the back. I mean, you could almost trace back Zack Snyder to John Woo probably, right?
Well,
a lot of the crap that he still uses comes from there, not to crap on Snyder, but I'm just saying they have a lot of the same tropes. Slow-mo, glamour shots, over-the-top action.
If you look
this is where it started. John Woo totally started all that here in Hollywood.
If you look at just 300 and The Watchmen, which arguably you can say that's Zack Snyder's best work.
No, but you could almost say that they were directed by John Woo, and the only thing that I would go, no, they're not, is because there's not enough doves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, the same thing could be said on that point too, where the same with the Wachowskis as well. It was kind of like an evolution.
Yes,
in the early 2000s with the
absolutely.
And then
well, yeah, because the Matrix is very much
in Woo.
Well, what the Matrix was is they took the kung fu, mixed it with anime.
Yeah,
right. So live action anime, basically. It's like, what if you had real people who had those kind of attributes that most, cartoon characters kind of have.
Yeah, fun fact about bullets is that I do a lot of tactical training and shooting, a lot. Like at least monthly, I do 1 or 2 weekend courses, except for about, October, November, December. So I do a lot of this stuff. The bullet doesn't actually have a lot of force. Like, in fact, in the real world, I mean, of course, if you get shot 20 times, what I'm about to say doesn't apply. But in general, 93% of all people survive all 9mm gunshot wounds in the United States.
Well, a lot of it depends on where you're hit. Right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
and then also, like, you're right, like
in order to really shoot someone, like kill him dead, DOA, like DOA kill. I mean, these are statistics from hospitals across the country.
Right.
I mean, what we see on TV and we see on news.
Well, and it probably helps that a lot of them are just the statistics are padded with accidental gunshots, which are probably a lot of legs and feet and hands and stuff when people are just fucking around with their guns. But no, you're 100% right. Like, unless you do a lethal kill shot in most cases. And then, I don't know much about guns, but I do know like a bullet is so hot that once it starts hitting certain things, it does deform and
it depends if it's a like regular point or hollow point, which
all that business.
Fucking nasty.
But I can also tell you this: never in tactical training have we learned to jump out of windows and shoot sideways.
It's shoot sideways, yeah.
Well, you should.
And definitely in slow mo. You know what, Tom? You know what, Thomas Connors? I caught that joke. I heard what you just said.
Well, you should.
You stop that right now.
You should know. You should be the one
what you have to do is in your mind hit square and left trigger at the same time to activate your max pain mode as you jump, and then you shoot.
First of all, Mikey would come out and he would go, first of all, I know you all want to go diving head first out the window, but don't do that. First, it's feet first. Your chances of landing are much better that way. If you go out head first, all you're going to do is wind up in the hospital with concussion. Trust me on this one. It took me 3 times to learn that. No, he's getting pissed. I'm just messing with. I love my Mikey.
What the fuck are you talking about windows? What the fuck? I'll catch you up later.
You don't know the window? Oh, okay. I'll have to give you the window story real quick.
I'll tell.
The lore of Mike is that he only dates women that are married, so that he's very astute at jumping out of windows as soon as he hears, "Oh no, my husband is home." So It's like a reactionary. See, I'm surprised he didn't
I don't
jump
know.
up right now.
That look on his face is like that might be true.
Well,
like,
it's not true.
The camera now.
That look on his face is this joke.
There's, you know how most of these things are based in reality.
Yeah.
The myths,
Oh my
the
God, we are
legends.
not done with the movie yet, and we only have 4 minutes left in the show. Uh-oh.
Typical Mike being a YouTuber.
What?
So the men fight, and we get to the shore. Like I said,
You mean the two stand-ins fight? Because
oh, please.
I
There's
hate that freaking guy.
what I like is
Why does
first
he
of
gotta
all,
be so beautiful?
This scene is utterly ridiculous. But like I said at the start,
The stuntman really does it though.
This particular scene got Paramount to fork over an extra $10 million or more, depending on where you look. And
So I remember seeing the deal where this guy, he's actually skiing on his feet and crap.
yeah,
Like he
and-
pulls it off.
And these guys are literally in the air. And when they land, they literally are, they have to cover you can barely see it, but they cover their heads because behind them, there's a Michael Bay explosion going on. and it's real close, like around 10 yards of explosion going off right next to them. And they have to stay down. Otherwise, there's shrapnel all over the place. But it's a great action scene. It's a great stunt, and it works. Even though you can clearly see it's not.
And that's just kind of the stuff we don't see nowadays, unless you're talking about maybe a Mission Impossible type film. But yeah,
Yeah,
because that whole sequence is pretty amazing.
it is. It really is. And it
Just all
leads
the
up
work that had to go into it.
It
Now
leads-
that's when, you know, these people nowadays are like, a lot of people worked on that's my bad. It's like, yeah, now this is where a lot of people worked on something and they actually put their lives on the
worked
line.
on this movie.
You know?
Not like oh wow, a VX department worked on this. Okay, cool. All right.
yeah.
They can work
exactly.
A
anywhere.
lot of
else.
people spent lots of hours working on a computer.
I would rather see stunt guys go up in the air, and it's like, oh, that's the stunt guys.
Well, and a
That-
movie that reminded me of this is from the same era, and I don't know if you guys have covered this one yet, but if you haven't, I hope you do someday.
Mm.
The Fugitive with Harrison Ford.
Not
I
yet.
forgot
Haven't
how many
yet.
sequences in that movie, and there's even sequences that they've never done again, and were like records at that time, especially like the train stunt and a few of the jumping stunts they had done. There's just so much stuff, and then like that train stunt is so intricate in what's going on there with
Yeah.
you know
And
everything.
there's
Like
some- And they improved on that when they did the U.S. Marshals with Snipes.
yeah, because they had
as
to
a
up it.
stand-in for
Yeah,
Harrison
at least
Ford.
that one had a little more CGI to work with. People forget that at the time they did The Fugitive, there wasn't much you could do with CGI at that time. It had to all be in camera, right? You had to do
Yep.
most of that stuff.
Yep. And of course, it comes to the fact that it's like as a last defying moment, Castor is literally trying to like cut away his own face.
Yeah,
But instead of doing in the middle, he does it on the side, so it really
which is a silly.
consequential.
Well, because he goes
Yeah.
up and over, but he doesn't actually
yeah,
cut
he just goes like this
cleanly
and-
all the way through.
And you
'cause
know,
he's like kind of cuts. But
watching
Why do you
this, I'm
think that's
going.
silly? Why?
I mean, I get why he's doing it, but even while I was watching it, I was thinking, what difference does it make? They can literally take one face and put it on another person's face. I think they can fix a few scratches now.
Yeah.
Like plastic surgery is like a thing of the past.
with this
Uh,
movie, yeah.
With this new technology they have here, yeah.
Yeah, but I want to touch upon one thing is sort of like the growth that Sean Archer goes through is the
Oh yeah,
fact
the
that-
setup and payoff of the bullet scar.
yeah, the bullet
Yeah.
scar where at first he reminds the doctor who gets killed, but he reminds the doctor, I need I've got a scar. When you take it off as the disguise, I need it back on. But when he actually goes through this entire ordeal, he says to the doctor, which is a different doctor, but it doesn't really matter. It's like, I had a scar. I don't need it. It's like,
Actually, no, he
I'm
doesn't
over
even
it.
tell him I had a scar. He's talking to him as though that's Walsh,
Yes,
as if
I
like
know.
he remembers. It's like, I didn't know you had a scar.
Yeah. because the original Doctor is dead. All the records are dead, so there's nobody that knows what the fuck is going on. Whatever.
No, it's supposed to show his character growth, the fact that he is now finally passed on from Mikey's death. He's gotten over his grief.
All right, and when he shows up back home, I want to get to specific spot.
We do have one more creepy hand touch.
Yes, the one creepy hand touch where he
Jamie.
gets Pastor's son, Adam, and he literally adopts him and brings him off as a surrogate to Mike or Mikey. The thing is this. The original, like, there's another ending to this, or there was another ending that they were supposed to do, which was, which involved Adam dying. But they showed it to a test audience, and the test audience is like, why didn't he just adopt why didn't he just adopt Castor's kid? And that kind of convinced the executives to go with this particular ending, which is a little bit more hopeful. The other one is a lot more dark than this.
Test audience said, "Oh no, only one kid death per film. Thank you very much,
Yes,
sir."
You need just that one kid dead, no more. And do it at the start where everybody at the end of this 2 hour and 20-minute movie kind of forgets that it happened. Maybe, not really. And that kind of brings us to the end.
So, Mikey, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was going to say, you got to wonder, John Woo, who thinks like, hey, it's a good idea. I'm going to start the movie with the dead kid. I'm going to end the movie with the dead kid. All right, let's go shoot the middle.
It's like, that was his punch-up notes, where they're just like, no. We want a prologue and an epilogue. Dead kids. That's how I want it.
Dead kid. Let's fill in the blanks. All right, let's start shooting. Where are the doves at?
Where are the doves at? Where are the doves cry?
And my breaking glass. Come on. Where is my fake glass? Come on.
So I had a quick look. These guys started filming around January of 1997. The movie came out June 27th, 1997. To start filming to finish to trailer editing, everything, around 6 months from start to screen, which is fast. It's fucking fast.
Back when Paramount knew how to make movies.
Probably.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's down to the fact that John Woo was doing editing while he was doing the film. So he was doing the shoots and then cutting it, having a sort of a cut where he knows where he wants to go. When he sat down to edit the thing, he had a rough cut rather quickly. And his rough cut is basically this movie, and they just chipped away on some scenes and threw away some stuff, added this ending rather than the dark ending, and switched some scenes around, and that's about it. Crazy fucking film. Was fun, even though it was a lot longer than I remember. It was fun to go back to it, and that's a fun ride.
This was one of those movies that was so long that when it came on, like on broadcast TV with all the commercials, like it was just on for like 3.5, 4 hours.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember ever watching it with commercials.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, I had cable. I've watched it on cable multiple times.
That's because you're a fancy pants. When you're Mexican, you don't. Back in the day, we didn't have cable.
Well, my cable is not as fancy pants as the American cable. Trust me. We had like 3 different movie channels, which was great. One of them was literally at one point was like, this is the action movie channel. So you saw Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, all the 90s movies that have
Casper Van Diem.
Chuck Norris movies, all that, like 24/7 for at least a couple of years during the like late 90s, start of the 2000s, when I was in the army. So when I got out of the army, that's all I wanted to see is like crazy fucking action movies. It's like, I know that's not happening in real life. It was just added layer of fun stuff to watch. Feelings. Summarize.
Overall, fun watch. Again, far too long. The movie's just far too long. A lot of superfluous stuff that could have been cut out, but overall, it's a fun movie. It's a quick watch too.
Yeah.
There are a couple scenes that drag on for a little bit, but they needed to for pacing purposes, because otherwise it'd just be a blitz of just boom, 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 boom. There's be action scene after action scene after action scene after action scene, but they could have condensed a lot of it and cut a lot of the stuff out.
All right, Mike, anything to add?
One of my all-time favorites, as evidenced by the fact that when you hit me up, God knows how many months ago it was that you issued the movie list back in November, December. I called dibs on this one and a few others, and I love this movie. I could watch it over and over again, despite the fact that there's too much slow-mo, and despite the fact that all the shooting scenes are a little bit ridiculous. I think it's a great plot. I think it's a great story arc, and for some reason the plot holes don't seem to bother me, but I always have a good time with it.
Yeah,
and it was fun. I'm glad I got to rewatch it last night, because I don't think I've seen this movie like in 8 or 9 years. Like, it's been like that long. So it was. I was glad we were doing the show today, because it got me to watch. Got me to get on that couch and turn it on last night on my Paramount.
And that's the whole point of this show is even if you watch the thing, or if you've never watched it, just heard about it. This show is trying to get you to watch, and then watch us here. It's kind of nitpicking. We nitpicked a lot of these things. All the John Woo stuff, it served a purpose. And when you see the movie, that whole over-the-top action, that like exaggerated slow motions, it served a purpose. It serves the movie well, because it kind of goes fast and then slows down, goes fast, then slows.
And that stuff aside, like, I mean, these kind of movies, especially this one in particular, and a few others that we could throw in there, are kind of like indicative of the 90s, right? Like, it's like you hold this up and it's like, this is the kind of action film that was, the most popular type of thing in the 90s. And as I said, you can tell all the different influences it had. John Woo bringing an interesting flair to it. This is definitely one of his better films as far as his American movies go.
Yeah.
But it also joins in this high concept film of that era, where you had a lot of mixing with sci-fi and action, right? You had everything from Demolition Man to The Sixth Day to, this very high concept, thing. And it works. This is one of the better ones, right? Like, this is one you could put up there with Demolition Man, as opposed to The Sixth Day and some of those other ones that didn't quite work, Yeah.
Erase.
Or what was that clone one that Van Damme did and stuff like that, there was a lot of those high concept sci-fi action films in that era.
Eraser is one of them, where
and Eraser was another one. Yeah.
Didn't really work as much as it's all of the same era, which is the latter half of the 90s, where it's like
until the Matrix came along, basically, like you guys brought up earlier, and reinvented it once again.
Everything. Yeah.
Because first of all, you had Die Hard reinvented the action film again in the 80s. So then for a while, everything was Die Hard on a boat, Die Hard on this, into that, on a this.
Speed is just
Speed was Die Hard on a bus.
On a bus. Yeah.
Yes. So like until that point, that's what you had. And then John Woo comes along and he kind of reinvents the action film with, like you guys said, he got a little notice with Hard Target and some of his other stuff. But Face Off was the movie that was in your face. It was a huge hit that summer. I remember seeing it in the theater. I think I see it twice. Because it was just one of those movies, like we had never really seen that kind of action movie before. And it really did change for a while what action movies became until Matrix. And then again, it just kept going from there. Every few years you have something that comes along and then everybody tries to copy that thing, basically.
All right, cool. So from the peak of Cage, which is 96, 97, to the lowest of the low, because next week, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to go and watch a movie that we're going to cover. It is called Pig from 2021.
Oh, I remember this movie.
It's
one I haven't actually seen yet.
2022.
2022?
Yeah. It's very recent. It's a really good film, but it's a completely different role.
Oh yeah, it's sort of like it's a completely different thing from what we had. Like we covered Con Air, we covered Face Off, which is peak of Cage. Now we're gonna cover a different movie called Pig. So before we leave, Mike, you got anything to promote?
Good God, no, I'm not a YouTuber, but thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, awesome. I would love to have you. Tom, you got anything to promote? Flashcast?
I'm sure at some point I'll be doing, I'll Flashcast later, of course, but I'm sure I'll be doing Mead Radio here at some point too.
Oh, dude.
I do have to go see my dad because he's in traction, but yeah.
Well,
He being a typical man, fell off a ladder and then waited a few days to go to the doctor. Now I found out he's got a couple broken ribs and pneumonia, so I gotta go see how he's doing. So yeah,
I can tell you, I know that pain because I've been dealing with some stuff with my family as well, which is not fun, but c'est la vie. Anyway, guys out there, go watch Pig. You can get it on, I think, is it on Amazon? No, it's on.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix?
Yeah.
All right. I think I've seen it on, I don't remember where I've seen it, but you can get it for free. Watch it, or not free. It's a streaming service. And come talk to us next week. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. We'll see you next week.
You're still here? It's over.